tonight to solve a mystery dating back to World War II and collect the riches that may come along with it. Legend has it that a Nazi train filled with gold was lost 7 decades ago.
One of the most tantalizing treasure legends of World War II was true, but the story behind it was darker and more complex than anyone imagined. Deep beneath the forests and mountains of Poland, rumors persist of a lost Nazi train packed with stolen gold.
300 feet long or more, stashed with gold, had been discovered.
Priceless artwork, and a regime's hidden hoard. Yet after decades of searching and cutting-edge technology, solid evidence remains frustratingly out of reach. This mystery isn't just about vanished riches or folktales passed down by survivors. Origin of the gold train legend. The story of a Nazi gold train buried deep beneath the forests of Poland began amid the chaos of World War II's final months. As the Third Reich rapidly collapsed, rumors circulated among forced labor survivors and displaced villagers in the Owl Mountains about secret convoys transporting massive treasures. Between 1943 and 1945, Nazi engineers blasted more than 20 tunnels into solid granite as part of an immense underground project known as Project Rees, using prisoners from the Gross-Rosen concentration camp as forced labor.
Led by the famous Monuments Men Task Force, the Allies uncovered vast hoards of looted gold and art.
These tunnels and side passages fermented whispers of sealed vaults and steel-reinforced doors guarding unimaginable loot. Eyewitness accounts emerged decades later, shaping the myth. In 1962, a railway worker named Joseph Kalata recalled how guards ordered him to attach 2 flat cars loaded with heavy wooden crates stamped with SS symbols to a midnight train near Sobon station. He was sworn to secrecy about what he saw. Another story came from engineer Hans Müller, who shortly before his death confessed to surveying a secret railway siding located 7 kilometers from the town of Wałbrzych. He drew a rough map indicating space for 20 heavily shelved train cars, and mentioned hearing conversations about special transport of valuables. Despite these intriguing testimonies, no official railway plans or SS orders confirming the train's existence have ever surfaced. In the late 1970s, local press in Ratnica published sketches and accounts of underground trains rumbling beneath dense forest floors. Wartime rail timetables showed gaps from January 19th to 22nd, 1945, which some historians speculated might correspond with missing treasure trains rather than usual freight. Throughout the 1980s, amateur explorers formed small expeditions, diligently mapping crumbling shafts within the Owl Mountains and unearthing signs suggestive of treasure, including unverified reports of melted gold traces in tunnel sludge. Anthropologist Anna Zamorska later explained how myths such as the gold train story take root in post-conflict zones. She found that collective trauma, secrecy, and local pride meld to keep such legends alive, passed down as half-remembered family stories. What may have begun as mundane descriptions of munitions shipments gradually morphed into tales of troves of stolen gold. For the people of Wałbrzych and surrounding towns, ravaged by war and economic decline, the prospect of a hidden treasure underground became a symbol of hope and renewal. Even decades later, fragmented wartime orders, smudged railway timetables, and collapsed tunnel entrances have failed to coalesce into clear proof. Every new rumor, every throw of a metal detector or survey scan, only deepened the sense that somewhere beneath the Owl Mountains, the Reich's hidden bounty might still lie in wait. This persistent belief forms the emotional backbone behind countless treasure hunts and local lore. It also revealed how legends find fertile ground where history and loss intertwine. While the myth's origins remain clouded in uncertainty, the deeper you press into the Owl Mountains, the more silence turns foreboding. The deserted tunnels echo with stories untold and secrets carefully hidden by a regime desperate to survive. The gold train legend is not simply a story of riches, but a reflection of the layers of fear, greed, and desperation in the Third Reich's final chapter. This elusive promise of vanished wealth lures us deeper into the shadowy intersection of wartime history and myth, compelling the pursuit of facts hidden beneath layers of rumor and secrecy. Wartime movements of Nazi loot. By late 1944, Nazi Germany was under immense pressure as Soviet forces advanced from the east and Western allies pressed from the west. Adolf Hitler's closest inner circle scrambled to secure the Reich's vast plunder, gold, priceless artworks, jewels, and currencies stolen across occupied Europe. Hermann Goering, head of the Luftwaffe and the art plunder chief, ordered the evacuation of hundreds of gold bars and masterworks by artists such as Raphael and Rembrandt from Paris to more secure hidden locations. Meanwhile, Walter Funk, president of the Reichsbank, oversaw the shipment of vast amounts of currency taken from occupied territories, funneling it under tight secrecy to protect the regime's financial reserves. Official records confirm that more than 1,000 tons of gold bars, worth over $500 million in today's currency, were packed into rail cars in Berlin's Reichsbank vaults. The SS also transported crates labeled Einsatz Reinhardt, containing jewels confiscated from Polish ghettos, further enriching the Nazi hoard. These shipments primarily moved along highways and rail lines heading east toward the Sudeten Mountains, a natural stronghold offering concealment in tunnels and mines. By January 1945, as Soviet troops approached Warsaw, the Reich Treasury Office issued orders directing special military trains to transfer remaining valuables to Bavaria and the Silesian region. One convoy documented leaving Krakow station on the night of January 18th listed 20 secret classified freight cars. Strangely, 3 days later, this train vanished from all official timetables near Wałbrzych, a major railway hub in Lower Silesia. Some freight cars were later discovered in Czechoslovakia, but the rest seemingly disappeared without trace. The Allies had recovered approximately 70 tons of gold and gemstones from the Merkers salt mine in Thuringia by March 1945, including Dutch crown jewels and tens of thousands of gold coins. Yet the Wałbrzych convoy never resurfaced in any known archive. The Allies' recovery method was meticulous. At Merkers, American troops traced SS markings and cross-referenced train manifests with Reichsbank files, identifying every single gold bar by serial number. Photographs captured vast pallets of gold bricks, still contained in their original wooden crates, all documented and transported under armed guard to Fort Knox. This level of precision contrasts sharply with the scant information on the Wałbrzych train, which lacks any similar shipping manifests, serial numbers, or SS documentation. German railway logs from that period contain only vague mentions of generic military freight passing through Wałbrzych. This conspicuous absence of paper trail has allowed legends to flourish, with decades of debate over whether an unrecorded train filled with priceless loot lies buried beneath the surrounding hills. Frequent wartime movements of displaced workers and guards through the tunnels added layers of rumor and conflicting eyewitness reports, claiming to have seen heavily loaded flat cars late at night. It represents how the fog of war and the regime's obsession with secrecy created shadows deep enough to swallow traces of even the most valuable spoils. The Owl Mountains and Project Reese. Nestled within the Owl Mountains of southwestern Poland lies the vast underground labyrinth known as Project Reese, or Giant, one of the Third Reich's largest clandestine construction efforts. Between 1943 and early 1945, the SS's organization TOT deployed thousands of forced laborers, many prisoners from the Gross Rosen concentration camp, to carve out 7 major complexes beneath these granite peaks. These tunnels could reach lengths of up to 600 meters, featuring enormous chambers meant to house heavy machinery and possibly rail lines. Archival documents reveal that SS Obergruppenführer Hans Kammler oversaw early phases of Project Riese. The primary goal was to relocate armament factories, including facility sites for secret weapons research, far from the reach of Allied bombers. Blueprints depict massive halls, some 30 meters high and wide enough to accommodate train cars or large industrial equipment, suggesting the site's scale and strategic importance. As the war advanced unfavorably, construction work slowed and many tunnels were left incomplete. Engineers sealed off entrances with concrete barriers and steel doors, fearing rapid Soviet advances. Wartime maps sometimes marked collapsed or inaccessible areas, but made no mention of hidden vaults containing treasure. Only scattered chambers remain accessible today, operating partly as guided tourist destinations, while vast sections remain forbidden and unexplored. Treasure hunters have long suspected that some sealed vaults in Project Reese might still conceal Nazi archives, stolen art, or bullion evacuated from Berlin's Reichsbank vaults. In 2001, mining engineer Andrzej Jarosz discovered fresh chisel marks near Włodarz and drilled a borehole where he reported hearing hollow voids. However, soil core samples yielded only fragments of brick and mortar, no metals or crates. Other discoveries consist of wartime memos indicating that staff were ordered to photograph key Reich documents and send photographic plates to Berlin by rail. Some speculate that these photographic items, along with diaries and ledgers documenting Nazi plunder, may have travelled on hidden trains in these tunnels. Yet no such photographic materials or negatives have been recovered from any Reese complex. Geophysical research, including a 2020 satellite radar scan near the Bukovka tunnel, detected anomalies suggestive of 6 to 10 metre tall voids. Geophysicists advocate the use of muon tomography to differentiate solid rock from possible metallic objects without excavation. Although promising, such advanced imaging techniques require extensive funding and time, and as yet, no full-scale muon survey has commenced. The Owl Mountains complex network lies under strict control of the Polish military and Ministry of Culture due to safety concerns, including risk of tunnel collapse and unexploded ordnance. The perpetual presence of sealed doors and blocked passages feeds hopes of undisturbed hidden chambers. This atmosphere of forbidden territory continuously attracts explorers determined to find the legendary treasure train or uncover other wartime secrets buried within. Without evidence, the distinction between myth and fact grows thinner as modern technology and persistent searching shed light on, yet fail to fully reveal what remains buried. Modern searches and radar discoveries. In April 2015, excitement surged across Poland when researcher Piotr Koper and German author Andreas Richter announced the results of a groundbreaking ground-penetrating radar survey near Wałbrzych. Their scans suggested a long metallic object, roughly 100 meters in length, buried beneath a hillside close to a collapsed tunnel entrance.
Legendary Nazi gold train actually exists. The train that search teams are looking for mysteriously vanished at the end of World War II.
This finding quickly caught the attention of Poland's Deputy Minister of Culture, Piotr Żułkowski, who expressed over 99% confidence that the radar signatures indicated a real train. Overnight, the legend of the gold train jumped back into the modern spotlight, igniting a media frenzy. News outlets from CNN to the BBC covered the potential discovery with vivid imagery, including helicopter flyovers showing rusted rails jutting from the earth. Local officials welcomed the growing attention, hoping that such a find could transform the town into a tourist destination. Hotels filled with treasure hunters, journalists, and hobbyists, eager to glimpse a lost piece of history. Gold train-themed souvenirs appeared in gift shops, and guided tours took visitors into nearby former coal mine shafts, now repurposed as treasure trails. The region reveled in sudden economic optimism, sparked by the prospect of unearthing Nazi loot. However, the euphoria soon attracted sharp skepticism from the scientific community. Professor Janusz Madej from AGH University of Science and Technology cautioned that similar radar echoes could result from fractured shale and water-filled cavities common in the Owl Mountains geology. The National Geological Institute confirmed the site's location atop unstable rock, prone to false positives in echo sounder readings. Long-standing critics also questioned the credibility of Koper and Richter, noting their history of endorsing other controversial treasure tales, including rumors of submerged Nazi submarines. Despite skepticism, excavation began in October 2016 on private land adjacent to the radar survey site after the pair secured a court order. Bulldozers carved into the hillside, and drilling rigs bored into the tunnel's mouth, extracting soil samples along 20-meter intervals. The operation initially captured widespread media attention, with live daily updates from local reporters tracking progress. As days passed, hopes dimmed. No metal, no crates, nor any train components surfaced. Instead, only rock fragments and collapsed debris filled the drill cores. Financial backers from Poland and Germany had invested over €200,000, driven by the possibility of historical treasure. Yet the stubborn presence of solid bedrock, much harder than anticipated granite, halted progress abruptly when drill bits snapped after striking unyielding stone. By December's end, the Ministry of Culture intervened, ordering the dig's cessation, citing safety concerns and the lack of any tangible evidence. The site was backfilled, and nature reclaimed the forested hillside. The fallout branded the 2015 to 2016 venture as the gold train hoax by much of the media. Still, the episode left deep scars on the community and the hill itself. Truth be told, countless explorers poured into the region in subsequent months, convinced that a slight location shift might uncover what the official dig missed. Local tour operators capitalized on the continuing buzz, offering gold train safaris into mine shafts and tunnels once guarded by the SS. These excursions thrived on a blend of hope, folklore, and the thrill of exploration. In the face of technological searches and shifting narratives, scientific inquiry turned to testing and excavation to pierce the myth's fragile veil. Scientific findings versus myth. Following radar detections, methodical scientific efforts sought to substantiate or disprove the gold train's existence beneath the Owl Mountains. Teams drilled narrow boreholes into tunnel entrances, retrieving long cylindrical core samples for analysis. Geologists meticulously examined these cores, unveiling layers of clay, shale, and small stones typical of collapsed mining tunnels. Importantly, no trace of metals, iron-rich sediments, rust flakes, or rail fragments surfaced, elements one would expect if steel train tracks or cargo had lain hidden underground. Laboratory dating of wooden supports embedded in tunnel debris revealed timber aged at least 30 years prior to the end of World War II. This evidence suggested that the tunnels were originally constructed as civilian mining operations, not as military depots or vaults for treasure. Archaeologists reinforced these findings through architectural studies of the tunnel entrances, identifying brickwork styles consistent with 19th century coal mines, rather than the reinforced concrete and steel bunkers favored by Nazi engineers. The absence of Wehrmacht construction methods further weakened claims of secret wartime train storage. Focused internal inspection mapped irregular tunnel floors scattered with rubble, unsuited to rail tracks or the heavy loading required for freight trains. This physical reality clashed with legend, making the presence of a hidden train increasingly unlikely. Historical record-keeping added another dimension to the inquiry. Archivists combed through wartime railway manifests, station logs, and SS property lists held in national and military archives. Records documented every train passing through Walbrzych in early 1945, coal shipments, munitions, troop movements, but none indicated special freight cars transporting gold or valuables. Detailed Allied records chronicled genuine Nazi treasure recoveries with rigor, shipping orders, serial numbers, crate labels, and photographs meticulously logged loot from well-known caches. By contrast, the absence of a single documented shipment or crate connected to the gold train at Walbrzych raised two stark possibilities. Either all evidence was intentionally destroyed, or such a train never existed. Some scientists hold hope for emerging technologies to finally weigh in. Muon tomography, for example, uses subatomic particles passing through rock to detect density changes that can indicate metal objects without excavation. Pilot muon studies near the Bukovka tunnel revealed slight anomalies undetected by prior surveys, suggesting potential for detailed metal mapping in the future. Yet these studies demand significant investment, remote logistics, and months of continuous data gathering. So widespread muon tomography remains aspirational at best. Beyond science, legal and safety considerations complicate future exploration. Polish heritage laws strictly regulate excavations within the Owl Mountains, imposing heavy fines and possible imprisonment for unauthorized digs. Preservation concerns extend to fragile tunnel structures and protected bat habitats inhabiting these underground spaces. The gold train continues to occupy the blurred boundary where history, hope, and legend intertwine. its final secrets locked away beneath layers of stone, story, and silence. Legacy, tourism, and unanswered questions. The legend of the Nazi gold train has become deeply woven into the identity of the Wolbrzych region, sparking not only historical curiosity, but also a significant local economic impact. Since the 1990s, treasure hunters and amateur explorers have flocked to the Owl Mountains, drawn by tales of buried riches and secret tunnels. Unauthorized digs, such as those led by Polish engineer Mariusz Trinkiewicz, have yielded little but collapsed timber and shale, yet they sparked legal action for damaging protected sites. Despite these setbacks, the lure of hidden wealth has fueled a steady stream of visitors and enthusiasts, transforming the area into a hotspot for adventure tourism. The aftermath of the 2015 radar discovery and subsequent failed excavations saw a boom in gold train safaris, where tourists donned helmets and headlamps to explore abandoned coal shafts and former SS guard posts. Local businesses jumped on the trend, offering themed souvenirs, tunnel view hotel rooms, and special dining experiences boasting train burgers. The University of Wrocław reported a 15% increase in regional tourism revenue between 2015 and 2018, attributing much of it to the gold train phenomenon. Social media influencers and treasure hunters have further propelled interest through drone footage, metal detector videos, and evocative imagery of rusting rails and concrete tunnels. Yet not everyone welcomes this influx. Conservationists like Beata Zawadzka from the Polish Heritage Foundation have raised alarms about the environmental toll. Fragile tunnel structures risk collapse, and bat populations inhabiting these caves face disruption from frequent human activity. Zawadzka has petitioned authorities for stricter excavation permits and better oversight to balance historical curiosity with conservation needs. Archaeologists echo these concerns, emphasizing that well-regulated digs could potentially uncover historical insights without jeopardizing fragile ecosystems or cultural heritage. Small businesses have grown to support the steady tide of prospectors, renting out pneumatic drills, metal detectors, and selling detailed maps of known wartime shafts. However, many expeditions end in disappointment, draining budgets and morale. Yet each new team, driven by hope and legend, arrives convinced the elusive train lies just beyond the next slope or beneath the next mound. This persistent pursuit has made the hunt for the gold train a defining narrative of the region's post-war identity, part history, part folklore, and an ongoing quest for meaning. The Nazi gold train story is more than a hunt for treasure. It's a complex legacy of history, myth, and modern obsession. Despite decades of searching and advanced technology, the truth remains buried beneath layers of silence and speculation. If you found this mystery as fascinating as I did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into history's greatest puzzles. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.